a copy of the Watch Out Ladies for someone who I think could use it, a college student. Um, but as far as guys are concerned, in what way can a guy benefit from any of these books?
A guy, well, if he agrees to most of the issues I talk about in these books, then he's definitely a well-to-do man and a keeper. So you can tell if he's a gentleman or not if he reads this book and he likes it or if he hates it.
Okay. All right. Well, Sweta, I really appreciate you being on the show, and I would love to definitely have you back around sometime if your next book is released, if you're interested. And you do have an upcoming project, don't you?
Yes, I do. I will be working with Devin Robinson X, who wrote a book on how to change your man to become a better man. And we're joining forces to write a book. You're probably going to have to deal with relationships and love. So that's an incoming project that I will be dealing with.
Okay. And go back to my caller for a second. Eminem, I have a question. Do you still have any type of connections at Jackson State University in regards to maybe getting information to me on who would be in charge of guest speakers for events there?
No, but I can find them. It won't be too hard for me.
Okay. Yeah, if you can do that for me, that would be great, because I would love to recommend Sweta to come to Jackson State University and maybe speak, because Sweta, my concern is, now I don't have kids, right? But that doesn't mean I don't have, loved ones who are going to college or someday going to college and things of that nature. And I think the biggest obstacle for children is that some things they just don't know. I mean, part of growing up is to experience things, right? But unfortunately, some people learn the hard way, and it just puts them behind the eight ball, and they're starting their life out with, financial problems. Maybe they got pregnant or just whatever the situation is. So I always think the best remedy for that is, prevention, so to speak, is to kind of get out there, let them know what to expect, and that would eventually prevent them maybe from having these issues down the line. So if there's any way that I can try to find a university near me in which for you to speak, I would definitely recommend you.
Thank you. I would love to inspire anybody at a university, because I know it's difficult out there, and I know that a lot of young women struggle with these types of issues, but they don't have the courage or they don't have the guts to speak out about them or get the help they need. Perhaps the help's not even there sometimes. Mm-hmm. And I really want to be that person to help them out.
Okay, and we really didn't touch on finances at all, but does the Watch Out Ladies talk about that as far as being in college and the pitfalls of as far as going into debt?
Yeah. There's a chapter in there called Rebuilding Myself. It talks about after college and how you can rebuild yourself and how you can get yourself and your income up and going even if you were in debt. So check that out.
Okay. Well, I am putting your website and your Twitter information in the chat room. And you can find her on Twitter at Sweta Speaks, and that's SWETA SPEAKS. So, check her out. If you have someone who is around, maybe a senior in high school or college age or something like that, or maybe as a parent, you need to read one of these books to learn how you can educate your child or prepare them for the world, then definitely check out SwetaSpeaks.com or follow her on Twitter. Get more information, check out the Watch Out books, and do yourself a service and try to not let your child find out these things the hard way, because we all know how college can change a person. So, Sweta, I appreciate you coming on this evening.
Thank you for inviting me.
I'm sorry?
Thank you very much for inviting me, and I can't wait to come on again.
Okay, I will definitely be in touch, and if I can, if the M&M, or if I can find the um, information to recommend you for one of the surrounding schools, and I will definitely do that. But either way, you'll hear from me again in the future. I guarantee you.
All right. Thank you very much, Quincy.
Thank you. You have a good evening.
All right. You too. Bye.
All right. Right. 347-202-0215 is the number on the Talk to Q radio show. I appreciate Sweta coming on. I mean, we have a great time on the show. There's a lot of comedy, a lot of entertainment, all that stuff, but we deal with serious topics here. And this is just something that people need to understand when it comes to molding the mind of young people. All right. And with single parent households and with the economy the way it is, people having to work all the time and they can't necessarily be the parent they may want to be, then it might help having a book or something for a child to read in order to try to give them that little extra guidance. So, but we'll go ahead and we'll move on to some other topics of the show. Again, 347-202-0215 is the number on the Talk to Q radio show. And is it fair to always hold people to their past? Now, there's a young lady running for mayor in the city of Vicksburg, Mississippi, which is about 45 minutes west of me, and her name is Linda Fondren. She had to reveal some things about her past that could deeply affect her potential political career, as well as the life with her family and friends. Linda had to reveal that she worked at a Las Vegas whorehouse as a prostitute 30 years ago. She also had to reveal that her husband of 28 years was one of her Johns. All right? That's pretty heavy stuff. Now, some people are upset saying that politicians shouldn't be forced to share all of this information. And I think that the information can be relevant depending on how far in the past it was. But I wouldn't necessarily hold this lady accountable for something she did 30 years ago, especially if it was legal. So, Eminem, I'll go ahead and start with you. Would you vote for a former prostitute?
Oh, of course, 100%. I mean, I would love to be on the campaign because, like I say, that's the agenda I would like to see anyway, man. How that's going to be illegal when I'm looking at literally, since the time I've been on the phone, some people who done did stuff way more serious than that just passing by, hardcore stuff, armed robbery, attempted murder, maybe murder, that kind of stuff, But as far as, like, the politicians and their past, especially in regards to this, a lot of it is smear tactics and stuff like that, and it gets ticky-tacky, and if something is very relevant to the office, like, of course you wouldn't want a person to be convicted of some kind of embezzlement or something like that, or running some kind of scam that affected lots of people. Now you're gonna put somebody over potential a city budget. Well, the public should at least be aware of that. Now, it doesn't mean a person can't change. It doesn't mean that person will never do this again. But at least that's a public thing that's relevant to the job. When you start talking about stuff like, what somebody used to do because, I mean, truth be told, I mean, Sarah Palin, they might have ran a train on her in college or something. But, I mean, that's not relevant to, whether she can, govern Alaska or not. But, I think a lot of that is smear tactics, But I would like to see her get in office because I'm saying, how you going to have casinos and not have, bordellos or strip clubs in Vicksburg? That's crazy, And how you going to have strip clubs here and not have casinos? So I was talking about that at work the other day, man. Just, we need to come into the 21st century with some stuff. I mean,
right.
Now, don't get me wrong. I've been a proponent for legalizing prostitution for, especially if Miss Sweta's still listening, for the whole time I've been coming on Q Show because a lot of it, I have a lot of points about it. But one of the things that I stress is it's a difference between voluntary prostitution and forced prostitution. Now, I'm not for slavery at all. Like when somebody kidnaps some kids from Vietnam, bring them to America, make them prostitute. That's fucked up. But if a chick just say, hey, man, this 9 to 5 ain't getting it. Working at McDonald's ain't paying the bills. I'm gonna sell a little ass for a little cash. Why are you gonna go to jail for that? That to me, that's just nonsense.
All right. Okay. Well, let me travel down to the 850 to the Emerald Coastline of Pensacola, Florida, and bring on my man Buck. Buck, what's happening?
What up? What up? How's everybody doing this evening?
Doing well, Buck. Buck, I mean, in regards to assault, maybe someone with an addiction or a petty crime, how long ago does something have to happen for it not to be relevant? I mean, all politicians have skeletons in their closet, but at what time frame do you say, okay, that's really not relevant anymore?
When it doesn't come out. I mean, you have to protect your image, and if you know you have these things, in your charted past, you need to protect yourself. So, or you don't run for politics. It's just that simple. So, I mean, we know that they have this kind of stuff going on. They have the past. I mean, you just have to watch out for it, and you got to protect yourself. So, I mean, but it depends on the type of, offense they have. Like Eminem was saying about the, the embezzlement and things of that nature, tax evasion things, felony. I don't think
anything involving like messing with children. There's no coming back from that.
There's no coming back from that. So, and you should know better to even attempt to even run for office like that. So, I mean, there are just some things that you just have to kind of keep an eye on. But I mean, if it's a misdemeanor or something, or smoking some weed or something back when you were in high school or college, no, I'm not gonna hold that against a politician or anything. If Bill Clinton can do it, everybody else can too. So.
Hey, he didn't inhale, but
hey, he still smoked it. Don't matter whether he inhaled it or not.
I mean, we've seen porn star. We've seen porn star. What's her name, Mary Carey or whatever, run for governor out in California, and I mean that wasn't serious, but this lady seriously wants to win. And Crystal, I'll go to you. I mean, like I said, this was like 30 years ago, and it was legal at the time. So even if someone may think it's immoral or not, it shouldn't have anything to do with her running the city, should it? Or maybe they fear that she still has those immoral values?
Well, the thing about it is, I have to agree with Buck, she should have kept that to herself. I mean, that's just the
I don't
way
think it was
the game of
it was an
politics.
option for her to come out. I don't think it was an option. They dug that up on her.
Well, yeah, that's the next thing I was going to say. It had to be where someone was threatening her with this information, and she decided, you know what, the best way to get over it is to fight it head on and just to go ahead and admit it.
Yeah. Because her kids didn't know.
Huh?
Her kids didn't know. Her kids found out for the first time last week.
Yeah, well, that's the price you pay for politics. And hopefully she can get over this, but the thing about it is, that's the way politics is run. You have to be squeaky clean. That it's the illusion, it's the appearance. And I'm sorry, but something like prostitution is going to bring her down a little bit in the polls. I mean, she may seriously want to run and want to win, but her opponent is definitely going to use this now. I mean, on several levels. I mean, it's so easy now. So it's unfortunate, but when you think about this kinds of thing, that's why when you think about going into politics, hopefully you think about it early. And things like working, even though it was Nevada and it's legal there, it still speaks to your character. And, that may be something completely wrong and horrible, but unfortunately we can find out because she did work legally. Now, if it was just, somebody who did something on the street, then, I'd be like, prove it. But obviously someone came up and she couldn't pay him off or whatever. So I don't know.
Okay. Well, Amy, as far as her husband is concerned, I'm pretty sure he's embarrassed now that it's out there that he married a hooker. I guess this is a true example. There's absolutely someone for everyone, isn't it? And Amy, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there. I was listening to someone else. I can totally relate to this woman. as I've made known on this show, I was a former dancer. What's someone